Welcome to the Global Relations Open House presentation. My name is John Cronfel, and I'm happy to introduce you to this course and a little bit about myself as well. At first, let's talk about my educational background. I have a master's in political science from Augustana College. I have a master's in curriculum and instruction. I have another master's in leadership and administration. My teaching background is a little bit varied, and you'll see why I enjoy teaching this course. I started out by going to Yokohama, Japan, where I taught on a Japanese exchange and teaching program in the public schools for 3 years. I came back, got my master's at the University of Illinois, then got a job teaching at Stevenson High School for about 1.5 years in the social studies department. I then had the opportunity to go back and teach internationally at an international school in Monterrey, Mexico for 2 years, where I also met my Canadian wife. And we then, after 2 years, decided to move to Ecuador. In Ecuador, we taught at another international school. I taught social studies there as well for 2 years. And then we had the opportunity to move to Asia, to Southeast Asia in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, where we taught for 3 years. At that point, I was lucky to be hired by LTHS, and I have been here ever since. One of our favorite things to do is every summer to go back to my wife's hometown of Ottawa, Canada, where it's a beautiful city to visit, and we go with our children, of course, Maya, Alex, and Emma. Very close to nature, and it's a great way to wind down. The home page of this course will look like this, and you will find a running schedule at the bottom, which is really the most important thing, where you can see our learning targets, our daily activities, as well as the homework that is coming up. You can also see the syllabus, the expectations for Zoom that the students developed, and many other basic things. Hopefully this page is user-friendly for everybody that goes there. In terms of what do we study in global relations, it's a complex world, and we study global issues as compared to domestic issues. And I'll quiz the kids. I'll say, who is this? And as I'm sure you know, this is Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela. So we'll talk about his style of leadership and how that relates to our own government. We'll talk about Southeast Asia. We'll talk about Aung San Suu Kyi and issues in Myanmar, also known as Burma. We'll talk about the fact that we've been in this country since 2001 after 9/11 and the leadership of Ashraf Ghani and the importance of Afghanistan for our U.S. foreign policy. And of course, we can't have a conversation about the world without talking about the impact of Russia and our relationship with Russia. In terms of what we study specifically, there are 4 units, and the first unit is on U.S. foreign policy, who makes it, why they make it, and the impact of our U.S. foreign policy. We'll also look at globalization. How is the world interconnected? We'll look at world organizations, and we'll talk about trade deals and things along those lines. We'll define poverty and discuss how does poverty happen and what are some solutions to poverty in the world. And finally, our last unit will be on conflict. What are the causes of conflict and how might we solve conflict? At this point, I have to put a pitch out there for any of you who have any expertise in any of those 4 areas, or you know somebody that does. It is one of the best parts of class. I like to get guest speakers in whenever I can, and I think that's as relevant and as important as it ever has been. Of course, we focus on skills of identifying terms and issues. We talk about evaluating sources and making sure that you know where you're getting your information from, as well as making sure that you have varied sources. We have great conversations in this class, and in terms of questioning and discussing any given issue. We do that at a high level. And we want students to walk away better able to make a claim, to defend it with evidence, and to analyze it, again, at a high level. The big project that students will do in this class in the semester is a global issues presentation. They pick the issue and they will do an in-depth analysis of that current event that's going on in the world, and they will teach us about it. I urge you to ask your student what topic they picked and to learn from them as they analyze what's going on with that particular issue. In terms of grades, there's two kinds of grades. One is practice, otherwise known as formative, that will not impact their grade, but it's really important that they do that practice so that when they do take the summative grade that is graded and does count towards their grade, they do well. The big picture of this class. I hope that the students find this class relevant to their lives every single day, that they have a high interest level, that in spite of the difficult issues that we discussed, that they walk away with more optimism, that they have their own opinion as compared to not even knowing about issues. And finally, this is the gold standard for me, that you are talking about the issues that we discussed in class at home, that your students are engaged and they actually want to know your opinion on these issues as well. That's it. That's global relations. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. The best way is by my LTHS email. You can see the office hours that I have, and if you'd like to have a Zoom meeting or a phone conversation, I'm always happy to do that.